welcome back to the Short Vol Show. My name is David Lincoln, broadcasting from lovely Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And I tell you what, it is just a joy to have you here with me today. Thanks for coming to check out the show. And I wanted to give you an update on what's been going on with positions that I have in GameStop. And also talk about the VIX a little bit. We had a little VIX spike last week. It was a great opportunity to jump on board to the short side. Hopefully some of you took advantage of that little moment in time to jump on, because one of the beauties of not having a VIX position at any particular moment is that you can jump on board when you get a little spiky spike. You know, if you have a VIX position already and it starts to spike, then you're kind of trapped. But if you don't have a position already, you can sometimes just jump on board, which was a great time to do that last week. If we look quickly at our charts here, and my chart is going to appear. There we go. And we can look at VXX, for example. And you can see last Thursday, there's a little spiky spike behind me here, right? Last Thursday, if you looked at the news stories, it was like China's taking over the world, and it was a lot of negativity just that one day. And VXX got up to 42, and pretty much immediately the horror, the terror, the volatility disappeared within a day. And that's very typical for a vol spike. Most vol spikes we see only last less than 24 hours. Now, you know, as soon as you say that, you get a vol spike that lasts for weeks. We obviously had during the pandemic an extended period of a huge spike where day after day stuff went higher, but that's not typical. The spike that happened on Tuesday is more typical, where you just get this pop, everybody's heading for the exits, it looks like the end of the world, and that's the time to maybe, just put on a little short. Now, if you put on a short, all of a sudden, within a day or two, stuff is back down again. Now, let's see. Why is my chart showing in percentage terms? Maybe see if I can fix that. Orders, alerts. Let's see if I can reset to default, if that will fix that. All right, so if we go back here, we're out of percentage terms, and we can see, yes, here we went from 42 down to 38, within a day, and that's a nice move to collect just from a little down action on the chart. And you see how I fixed my chart? I went into this gear icon above the chart. We are in Thinkorswim right here. So there is that. But let's get back to GME. I have been coming on and publishing volume figures. Now, because it's been interesting to me, the low volume in things. Now, if you are into the market or not into the market, you probably have noticed there's been a lot of water cooler talk about the financial markets recently. And I'm going to try to change my, see if I can kind of change the coloring on my display here, because I'm looking very kind of pale here. Let's see if I can fix that a little bit. I think my something to do with the chroma. Let's see. Well, I'll just keep talking as I try to fix this, but is that better? No, it still looks kind of weird. Is that better? It's a little better. The volume has really dropped off in some of these products. What I was saying was, if you have been talking about the market or have been hanging out with people talking about the market at all, there's a lot of conversation around the water cooler concerning topics such as Doggy Coin now, or Dogecoin as some people like to call it. Now, the fact that this cryptocurrency has gone from fractions of a cent up to, I think it was like 63 cents. Let's see where it is right now. I'm sure you're saying the same thing I am, which is yet another cryptocurrency that I missed the boat on. But of course, as it gets up to this level, it's probably going to go straight back down again, right? As soon as you or I buy it. But yes, this doggy coin, which started off as sort of like a joke, has just exploded in value, and people are pointing to this as like a sign of the apocalypse to come or something like that. I don't see it as extreme as that. Right now, showing 61 cents value for doggy coin. But people have been, I guess there were some comments by the Fed last week concerning GameStop and other meme stocks and doggy coin, talking about how like these things that seem to be frothy or overvalued, trading at a higher value than quote unquote what they should be. Now, I don't know what that means because the market establishes value of things. So everything is trading where it should be at all times. That's the point of the market, but of an open market. But there's been talk that, well, there's going to be a crash in the market, and the signs are there. It's kind of like the signs of the apocalypse, you know, that the end is near. And, you know, that would be great if the end is near because I'm short GameStop. But don't necessarily buy into this. If you follow the market for any period of time, there's always somebody saying that we're going to crash. It's always coming from one person or another, and eventually one of these people will be right, but and will point back and say I was right. However, all these people that say we're going to crash every day who are wrong, you don't hear from them again. So taking everything with a grain of salt. I wanted to talk about recent trades in GME from my particular position. And last week I put a trade on. If we let's take a look at the chart for GME first of all to kind of center ourselves here. And I'll get out of the way. All right, so here's GameStop. And we're going to go to a, let's do the 20-day. How about a 10-day? Okay, so right around here, around the 180 level, one of these days here, kind of right above my head, I bought a put spread. I bought the 160, 170 put spread, and it was a few months out. I believe it was like July, or no, let's see. I think it was the June put spread, but I bought this put spread, the 170, 160 put spread when the stock was 180. So it's a bet that the stock was going to go down. And then last week, during the week, we actually did go down. So I got short around here. We actually did go down. And then down here when we were around 155, I flattened out my position by selling another put spread. So I was long the 160, 170 put spread. That's a $10 spread. The most that can be worth is $10. So on expiration, if the stock is below 160, the spread's worth $10. I paid $5 and change for it, something like $5.50. Stock did go down to 150, at which point the spread was worth about $7, and I ended up selling the 115, 105 spread farther down against it to flatten out my position and made a few $100s. I think I made like $500 on that trade. Stock went back up, and we got back up here on, let's see, I believe that was on Wednesday. And I took my position off, locked in some money, and then I put on a very short position, making a bet that GameStop will go down below $100 in the next couple months. So what I did was I bought the July, which expires in 70 days, the July 185 put spread. So I bought the 100 put, sold the 85 put. So this can be worth $15. I bought this 10 times. So if we actually do get down to 85 in the next 70 days, this spread will be worth $15,000. I initially paid $2. Let's see. I believe I paid $2.80, something like that, for this spread. So if you pay $2 for a spread and then it goes to 15, you make multiples of your money. However, this is a pretty aggressive spread, right? We're trading 160 right now, and we would need to get down to 85. However, so that's kind of the bet, is that we do move a lot lower in the next couple months here. So we'll see how this plays out. Right now, if I look at the Greeks for this trade, we go to the Analyze tab and look at the Greeks. It shows me short 48 deltas. That means for each point we move lower, I make $48. For each point we move higher, I lose $48. And the theta here is an important aspect of this trade because it's a relatively high theta number, $30 a day. So if we're sitting still or we're going higher, or even if we're going lower, I'm losing $30 a day on this trade. So really what I was kind of looking at, and the reason I put this trade on, is that I believe the options are it's kind of a funky pricing thing, because this is kind of just on the edge of being possible that it gets here, and thus the pricing is really weird. Like if we were to move down another 10 or 15 bucks, all of a sudden the spread's worth a lot more money. But to pay $3 for something that could be worth 15, if this comes in, I would make back all the money that I lost earlier in the year, plus some on this in this position. So I like the idea of setting myself up to recover any losses previously. And also, I've been very bearish on this issue for a long time for multiple reasons. Now, I don't want to convince you one way or the other about positioning in GameStop. That's up to you, the way you position yourself. And it's not for me to tell you which way a stock is going to go, because, I don't know any better than anybody else does, and people get mad at me anyway. There's a lot of emotion surrounding GameStop. A lot of people, if they're long it, they get very mad at people who have a different opinion, and this is an attribute of some of the younger, newer traders who have just started trading. They don't, they really have this thing where we all stick together and we stay long, and well, you've heard of all that diamond hand stuff and all that stuff. And I don't wish to convince people otherwise. If that's your opinion, then that's fine. We can have different opinions and still be traders and not be at each other's throats. I know that's kind of a revolutionary concept, but there we go. So probably it would have been a good idea for me to jump on the VXX trade when we got the pop. However, my message to you is be aware that this happens all the time with VIX products, is you get a pop and then it just kind of fades off really quickly. So if you're ready for that pop to happen, then you can take advantage of that situation when it does come in these VIX products, if you don't already have a position on. Now, many of us who trade volatility products would already have a position on in this situation and wouldn't be able to take advantage of it. But if you don't have a position on and you get a significant pop in volatility, it can be a great time to just put a short-term position on to take advantage of that just kind of return to the mean as we come back down. Contango is still 9%. The VIX term structure looking quite healthy, I would say, which is a good thing. We like healthy curves. Let's pop in here for a second, and what I'm gonna do is do this little quickie thing here where we go boom, boom, and we can see the term structure here. Let's try to kind of center it. And just a very healthy, normal curve, right? That little fear we had a couple of days ago, and the pop in the VIX, where it looked like it was the end of the world, dissipated rapidly. And once again, that is very normal activity for the VIX to have just a one-day event. In fact, that's what happens most of the time. Now, last year was a tough year for VIX and VIX products, and things did not happen like normal. But we appear to have come back to some sort of normalcy here. We've had a great run down in VIX products. Once again, we're still waiting on UVXY news of the split. However, we did get the split in VXX, and things are on track for a continued nice down move in VIX products. So that's kind of the situation. GameStop and the big meme stocks right now, MVIS, AMC, volume has dried up quite a bit. MVIS had earnings that didn't go so well, and interest kind of shifted off of that one for now. I like to pull up on here the top volume stocks every day. I don't know if you've checked this out before, but let's switch back over to the other side of my other screen here and go back to Thinkorswim. Now, Thinkorswim has pretty powerful lists here. I don't know if you've checked this out before, but I always go to this top 10 active, right? It shows before the open what's going on. Okay, so top 10 active in the New York Stock Exchange. We can see NOK. And if we go to analyze, it'll tell us the volume. So I'm not sure why that's not working. I tell you what my issue is, and it's an easily resolved issue, which I haven't quite resolved yet, which is that my mouse, I believe, is running out of batteries here, and thus is not cooperating at times. Anyways, NOK. Okay, so 3 million shares so far today. That's the top most active before the market in the New York Stock Exchange. If we go to the NASDAQ top actives here, we can see FNKO, which I don't know what that is, Funco Incorporated, with a volume Funco. That doesn't make sense. These volume figures are not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So, yeah. So if you go in here if you go to your watch list and you click on the title of it in the center of the screen here, you can pull down. There's all these options here, and I go to top 10, and I go to most actives. And here we go. So top most active in the NASDAQ, OCGN, has traded 12,900,000 shares so far today. And this will give you an idea of stuff going on before the open. Tilray, 2 million shares so far today. A-Ray, 3 million shares. And PLTR, which is one of our meme stocks here, has traded 1.5 million shares so far today. These lists can be useful. There's top 10 gain loss. Now, the ones I'm looking at are before the open are most actives because that's going to show pre-market volume. But there's also percent gainers, net gainers, top 10 volatility increase. This stuff can kind of give you an idea of kind of what's going on. We've talked about this before, but when you come in every morning and you arrive or you turn your computer on, we want to say, what's the theme today? What's going on today? Is there a theme? Because every day there's some sort of theme. Now, last day or two it's been Bill Gates is getting divorced, right? Or Chinese Navy. Right now, if I go to Drudge Report, it says Chinese plans Atlantic Naval Base, revive strategic Pacific airstrip. So that's the theme that could be seen as at least one theme today, right? Yesterday it was Liz Cheney maybe out with the Republicans. And so you want to kind of see what the theme is and what's developing. Now, the other thing, of course, to look at every day, and of course that I look at, and I'm sure most of you do too, is just look what the futures have done overnight. And right now we have E-minis up 11, NASDAQ up 157, which is a significant up move in the NASDAQ futures. We have the Nikkei down 15 points, is very small. Then we have the VIX down 12 cents, relatively small as well. And these things are going to tell you kind of what's going on ahead of time. Some people will look at oil or natural gas or gold as well. And this kind of tells you what's going on. Like, for example, I'm showing oil, $64 a barrel. Wow, remember when oil is negative? It's back to $64. So that's kind of where we are. GameStop so far today has had a volume of 30,000 shares. Now, a low volume doesn't necessarily mean something's going to go down. It's just a piece of the puzzle, right? And to me, with GameStop, it kind of confirms that maybe I'm on the right track with my position, as people seem to. I feel like in my mind, psychologically, there's a lot of people holding on to longs in GameStop that are going to make a decision at some point. There's some level that this goes down to where a lot of people are going to say, where a lot of people are going to give up. I don't know what that level is. It might be $100. It might be $140. But I feel like at some point, if we continue to move lower, there's going to be a bigger volume day to the downside when people start to really throw in the towel. You have to think a lot of these people that have been trading GameStop they're not the same long-term investors that bought it at $2 and were like, we believe in the company. A lot of these people are looking for the fast money. And as the fast money doesn't come, look, over the last couple weeks, we haven't had a really big mover day up, right? We had this one move down, which was like 15 points, but we haven't had a lot of movers up. And people who are looking for fast money, even though they say they're not looking for fast money, you have to think that some of the newer traders who've gotten in here, who love posting all the time, talking smack online, all this action, are going to get bored with inaction and bail out on this. And I would think that's part of the reason why it's gone down so far up until now. So we'll see. If you look at the volume at the bottom of the page here, you can see it just kind of falling apart slowly. I mean, it really looks like it's getting less and less and less and less day to day. Now, we're still pre-market right now, but still, we're about to open, and it's only 30,000 shares. That is really small, right? We're not even a third of the way to 100,000 shares with 7 minutes till the open. So interest really kind of dropping off on here. Another way you can look at interest is just go to StockTwits, pull up the issue, and see every day it says message volume down 1% right now. There's almost 200,000 people watching GameStop, which is a huge amount of people. And you can see message volume each day is a little lower as people kind of move on to the next big thing, right? And we don't know if the whole meme sensation thing, maybe GameStop was the biggest one, and this is just going to kind of fade off until the next thing comes, the next group of stocks. We'll see what happens. But I am looking at something like Tilray when Tilray had made that big move up, it slowly ground lower into kind of the dust, and I'm thinking that maybe GameStop will follow a similar model. Here is a chart of Tilray, and you can see it kind of just grinding into the dust over time. And maybe Tilray will follow. Maybe GameStop will follow. If GameStop follows a similar model to this, then my position will be successful. The good news is that I'm not married to this position. I can get out of it at any time. It is costing me some decay, but I have 70 days left till expiration, so we could get a big move up and still have this position work. So we'll see what happens. We've been hanging out at a similar area. There's GameStop. We've been over, I believe that's a 3-year chart. We've been hanging out at the similar area. chart readers could say this is bullish or bearish. It looks kind of like right down the middle right now, whether you could call it bullish or bearish. But is what it is. I stay short. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and watching the show. I don't know if you saw that Floyd Mayweather stuff, the Floyd Mayweather fight stuff. That's pretty amazing, right? Let's see if we can pull it up here. So NASDAQ to the moon. So Jake Paul stole Floyd Mayweather's hat, and it's a big deal. I will leave you with that image as we fade to black for today. Thanks for coming and checking out the show, and I will see you again shortly next time on the Short Vol Show live. Bye now. You have a fabulous day.
You're watching Famous Dave.